This is a Nair product review, and today I'm going to be giving you a closer look at this wax warmer from Yoursmart. This is a professional wax warmer that you can use yourself at home. So let's open this thing up and take a look, shall we? Comes in this nice little box. It's pretty compact with all your stuff in here. And it comes with these hard wax beans that you melt in your warmer. So these tiny little beans, and comes with 4 packs of these. One thing that I've noticed right off the bat with these wax beans is that unlike some other ones that I've tried, when they melt down and you put on, it's not quite as stringy, and I'll show you that close up when we're waxing later. Alright, in your box you also get these large sticks for application. It's basically a glorified large popsicle stick. And there's another size as well underneath. Here it is. Really like these little narrow, tiny ones that are in there. And the user manual, which basically there are 2 sets of instructions saying the same thing differently, so I'm not quite sure why, and it really doesn't go into detail about how you should be waxing, but basically the use of the wax warmer, turning it on, heat settings. Not too much detail there. You kind of have to figure it out yourself, but it's not too challenging. So here's your lid right here. In the wax warmer, you have this little dish that comes out, and then the warmer itself. And this one doesn't have a dial. It's got buttons on it that are simple little touch buttons. And that just fits in like so. And your lid goes on top. So let's put it to use for some waxing at home. Whoops, a little bit more than I actually wanted to put in there. Yep, that's plenty. Okay, so you can see with these buttons, it is really touch sensitive, so you don't have to really press in a button. It's just a light touch and it'll come on and show you the current temperature. And you can switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. And I'll show you where it's at. And then you can adjust the temperature up or down right here. So I'll put that in Fahrenheit here. And then it starts to warm. So when you put the beads in, you want to cover it with the lid while it's warming and melting. And then before you get any wax, you want to make sure, before you spread it anywhere on your body, test a little bit on a sensitive area right here at your wrist and make sure it's not too hot. Hot enough to be melted, but you don't want to burn yourself. Okay, as far as the instruction manuals goes with this one, it seems like it's kind of written for generically for a different spa because it talks about turning the knob. There's no knob or dial on this one. It's all touch buttons here. It does tell you there's like 3 steps before it tells you to even turn it on, and they don't make a whole bunch of sense, and none of them really say to put the beans in there. So they're kind of all over the place. It does recommend that when you turn on, you put it to 120 degrees Celsius, 248 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm not sure what its automatic thing was when you turned it on, and it tells you to cover it with a lid. It also says it takes about 30 minutes for it to melt. It took way less than 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes tops. Okay, it also says that once the liquid set the temperature to what you want, temperature can be seen on the digital display, but it doesn't give any recommendations for what kind of temperature you should be at, like turn it up really high to get it to melt, and what temperature you should bring it down to for its safe using. So that's not extremely helpful, but I'm just leaving it on and waiting for it to melt. It's been just a couple of minutes, not even close to 15, and about half of it is melted. There's still a bunch of beans in there. So it's getting to be a liquidy consistency. while that's on melting, let's talk about these sticks here. They're just thick popsicle sticks. You can buy them at a store, in a craft store, anywhere. So that doesn't bother me. What I do like about this is that it comes with these really thin ones, which is really nice because I've tried to wax like in between my eyebrows with this, and because it's a large stick, I have gotten it accidentally over towards my eyebrow, and once that wax is on, the hair that is attached to it's coming out. So I lost a little bit of my eyebrow from not being careful doing that. But with these little ones, you can get into tighter, smaller areas, and that's really nice. All right, it's completely liquid now. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I like that you can see the specific temperature on here, but I wish that there were some guidelines of when you're heating it, set it to this if you want it to heat quickly. And then before you use it, make sure it gets down to this temperature, and this temperature will keep it from becoming solid. So you want it to be liquid, but I also don't want to burn my flesh off, right? So looks like that is the lowest that you can go down. It's to 50. So I'm just going to let that cool, and it's still at 83 and showing me it climbing down. So that's definitely a pro with this one not having a knob where you're kind of like at high and then turn it down to medium to use. You don't really know when the temperature comes down to that setting. Here, this one will show you where it's at and when the temperature is coming down so you get a better idea. You definitely still want to test it on a small area. Because I've got the small sticks, I am going to do a little bit of facial hair with this waxing today. Just in between my eyebrows, a little area over top of the lip. And these larger sticks are definitely better for larger areas, like if you're doing an armpit, legs, arms, whatever. So I just did a tiny little bit test on my wrist when it's at 60, and it's pretty dang hot. So I'm gonna let it come down to 50.
Okay, the temperature has now dropped.
So it's hot when it goes on, but not terribly uncomfortable. You can see that it just hardens and it'll come off. I've used some wax beans that are really, really stringy. This seems to be less stringy than some.
In general, you want to apply wax in the direction that your hair grows and rip away in the opposite direction. And you do want to do a little bit thicker than I'm doing here so that it all comes off in one clean sheet.
Made it way easier for me to get this narrow space by having a small stick there. So this is the best part, my friends. Here we go. Nice inhale, and on the exhale, yank. There we go, all those tiny little hairs. You can't really see that, can you? Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a picture of that. Nice and smooth. I do really like these wax beans, that they're not very stringy. Like, I've had some that little strings come off all over the place and it's kind of messy and you have to take the strings and throw them back in. This goes on nice and smooth. It's great. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, missed a spot. Well, that's part of my skin now. Just kidding. If you go kind of thin in certain areas, sometimes you get a little bit of residue that doesn't pull off. All right. Shall we approach the unibrow section? For your entertainment today, I have a lone pimple for you to look at. 2, 3.
Shall we do a larger area? Now, here is a confession that's not going to be a big shock to anyone watching this. I am not great at waxing my legs. Getting it in a straight line and not missing spots. Honestly, I really don't like waxing my legs. Didn't like it before using this product. Still kind of don't. I feel like it takes forever. It's pretty hot going on. It's a little uncomfortable. I shave much faster. And I don't notice too much of a huge difference between like the hair growth coming back. So waxing my legs is kind of not worth it to me. I previously reviewed another wax warmer that you can use like this at home, and I know from that experience that people want to see your hair in the wax. So I can't quite get my camera to focus on it while I was doing it. So here's a picture of my hair in the wax. Ripped it right out. There you go. So my overall thoughts on this wax warmer, I love the touchscreen. I love that it's digital and it shows the temperature. I'm going to put a link here to another one that I reviewed that I use all the time that's got a dial. So I do like that actual aspect of the warmer better, that you can see what the temperature is. My other one did have various different wax beads, and I used like an aloe one, which is a little better for my skin. That's pretty sensitive. This one, I noticed that I would get like pretty red and red bumps left over from using the wax. However, I did love that this wax wasn't stringy. You can really see me waxing with this one as far as in comparison to the other wax beads. There just weren't too many strings, and that made it a lot easier when waxing with it. I got this wax warmer on Amazon from Yoursmart, and I will put the link for it in the write-up below. Actually, on their product link, they do have better instructions for how to use this and how to wax. Also, there's a question on there about how to clean it, and they recommend putting baby oil in there and then wiping it out with a towel after you've warmed it a little bit, being careful to avoid the temperature. Honestly, I don't clean mine out too much. I put it in there until the wax is pretty much almost gone. Then when it's still a little warm, I just peel it out and put in the next one. And that's been your closer look at this wax warmer. If you are a pro at waxing, feel free to share your tips below and check out my channel for more product reviews, positive affirmations, and bar and Pilates workout videos. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for your support to my channel, and thanks for watching me wax today. See you next time.